Now, let me warn you about several very common mistakes and challenges and problems that I have seen while teaching how to use the pen tool for a decade. The first one is that when you're drawing something, sometimes you will get pointy looking areas, such as this one. This looks very pointy. And here we only have an anchor point. So I'm going to go to the white selection tool and select here, and you can see that there's an anchor point over here, but the line looks really pointy. So how can you get rid of that? Well, that needs to be done in the stroke palette. The stroke palette is displayed over here just because I was changing the weight of the line before. I'm going to collapse it, and then I'm going to show it again. Perhaps the stroke palette in your case will not display its options, it will only display the weight. So let's make the options visible by clicking on show options. That will display the options. Where I want you to go is this area here, corner. By default, Illustrator will select pointy corners, but there's also a round corner, round join over here. If you click on that while selecting an object, the corners of that object will become rounded. So that is how you change the style of joins, of corners in an Illustrator drawing, okay, on something that you're drawing with the pen tool. Let me show you a very common mistake while using the pen tool. Right now I'm going to select all that with the white selection tool, delete, and I'm going to draw something here. I'm going to select the white selection tool, I'm going to select the pen tool, and I'm going to use the spacebar to move around, and I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to click here, same thing that I did before, okay? I'm going to just drag, and then I'm going to put my next anchor point in here, and then I'm going to hold the command key. Right now I need to change the direction, I need to change the handle because I don't want my curve to be very steep. So I'm going to hold the command key and the option keys and move this handle back here, and then I'm going to just drag here. Perhaps I need to move my handle a little bit closer to the anchor point. There you go, that looks slightly better. And now let me zoom in a little bit. Spacebar and command to be able to zoom in. And now remember that we need also to change the direction of this point or move this handle up here because my next curve needs to go in that direction before meeting the next anchor point that is going to be placed over here. Now here comes the very common mistake that I have seen many times when teaching the pen tool. When you hold the command key or the control key if you're using a PC and the alt key or the option key to change the direction, the handle over here, it is very easy to, instead of dragging the handle like I'm doing over here, it is really easy to click off, to click outside, and that will deselect the line. Well, this is a huge problem because if you deselect the line that you are drawing while you are drawing it, if you click here, you will start creating an entirely new path, an entirely new object, okay, that is not really connected to this previous path that you had before. I have seen this problem happen many times. And in some cases, some students even click here thinking that this line is connected because they don't really see the gap. Actually, if I zoom out, it is really difficult to see that there is a gap in between those two anchor points. I'm going to zoom in again, spacebar and command to display the zoom in tool. And you can see that there is a gap in here. So never do this, okay? If this happens, just click on Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z until you go back here so you can trace, you can create a new anchor point again, and then hold the command key, hold the option key, then move the handle and then keep drawing. Well, in some cases, while you're drawing, you don't notice that you have deselected the thing, all right? It happens many times. So I hold the command key and I hold the option key and I click off, and if I'm tracing from here, it is very likely that particularly if I am drawing very quickly, it's very likely that I don't notice that I stopped drawing and that I am creating right now an entirely new path, and I keep drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing, and then perhaps I will hold the command key and the option key here again, trying to grab this handle and click off, and I will deselect again, and then I keep drawing, and it seems that I'm creating I'm keeping drawing the same object, but I am not. I am creating an entirely new path. So what I have done here, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute, and actually I'm going to finish tracing all these, okay? So I'm going to click there. I'm just going to be a little bit sloppy here just because I want to finish drawing this very quickly, because I want to show you what happens when you don't draw a continuous line if you're trying to create the silhouette of an object. So I'm going to be very sloppy here. and then I don't click at the end. I just click here, so I don't even connect those two anchor points. Well, when I see it from here, it seems that everything is right. I don't really see the gaps in there. So this seems to be a continuous line. But see what happens when I select it all and add a fill color. So I'm going to go to the fill color value over here, and I'm going to add yellow as a fill color. You can see that there is a gray line here. Well, what is going on here is that basically I'm seeing through the objects, just because while I was drawing, I stopped drawing a line and I created a new path. So this is a path, this is another path, and this is another path, and they are not really connected. Okay, and I didn't notice it before. So how do I fix this? Well, there is not really an easy fix when you make this mistake, when you make the mistake of not connecting your anchor points properly or deselecting the shape that you were drawing and keep drawing without noticing it. But here's how you can try to fix it. Basically, what you have over here is a gap. You have two open-ended anchor points, all right? So you can connect them back by, with the white selection tool, selecting one of them and then holding the shift key and selecting the other one of them and then clicking on Command J or Control J. That will be connect the two anchor points. Oh, sorry, I click on the wrong option. So it's Command J or Control J. It will connect the two open-ended anchor points with a straight line. Okay, that can be an easy fix. Sometimes it doesn't look very good, but anyway, we can fix it that way. I can select this anchor point and then I can zoom in to see if I can select the other anchor point. There you go. I have selected both open-ended anchor points. It's usually better to zoom in as much as you can to see where the two open-ended anchor points are. So you select those two anchor points and you click on Command J or Control J on your keyboard, and Illustrator will add a straight line in between the anchor points. So when you try something and you notice that something is not right, that you have, gaps in your drawing, it's usually good to zoom in and connect the anchor points like that. Let me show you another way in which you can connect anchor points. Instead of using the Command J option, what you could do is to go to the pen tool and you can click on one open-ended anchor point, and then you can move and go to the other anchor point until you get that little symbol in the cursor, like a square crossed with a line. And that means that if I click here, I will click on the other open-ended anchor point and I will connect them both. So I can click on the first one and then I can click on the second one, and Illustrator will connect them. This is not ideal, as I mentioned before. It is much better to make sure to be careful while drawing. I'm going to start over again. While drawing with the pen tool, it is much better to be careful. And I get here, I need to manipulate the handle. I hold the Command key and I hold the Option key, and be careful with selecting that. And then down here, and try not to click outside. Okay, if you click outside, pay attention if you still have the blue halo on the line. If you don't have the blue halo, it means that you have deselected the line that you were drawing. You don't want that to happen. So click on Command Z or Control Z on your keyboard to go back to the previous step and draw again. It is very important to draw continuous lines, at least if your goal is to create the silhouette of an object. Okay, if you're trying to create the silhouette of an object, the silhouette needs to be a continuous line, a continuous path. It cannot have gaps in between the line, okay?